This is the gathering of members of the Old School Drinking Podcast. You might ask why you're doing a new podcast considering the millions that exist. Our goal is simple: to encourage people to gather in neighborhood bars and talk. Talk not only to people who agree with you, talk to people who think you're an idiot. Understand that the only way we will survive as a society is if we can get beyond our various camps and identities. This is why we're here, to save an institution that historically brought us together. Also, we like to drink. Today we're at the Oasis in Rogers Park, our home base. The co-hosts are John and Joe, at least for this segment. And what are we drinking tonight?
Oh, because I drink the same thing whenever I go to a bar. It's Shinerbach here.
Good enough. And mine is, as usual, Michelob Ultra. We should start getting some sort of payments from the people that we're drinking.
Yeah.
I mean,
Michelob.
You keep getting pub from us. We want some sponsorship.
Time for some kickbacks. At least a free six-pack.
We're going to talk a little bit about the news right now, which is
It's been a crazy time since the last time we did that.
truly bizarre. I continue every time I think about doing the podcast, how depressed I am at thinking about things and how they're going. Uh-oh. Did you record something else that time?
No, apparently it's fun.
Let's start with hyper local news. This is the sixth year I've been here. The fifth year I've gone through graduation. We got here in June the first year.
Yeah.
And so I've only seen the graduation stuff for 5 years. And what always amazes me is the amount of crap that students have to move in and out with now. The carts full of stuff that they move in and out.
The modern world needs a lot of stuff.
Well, there you go. And considering when I was going to school, basically a backpack would probably carry most of the stuff that we took.
Sure.
But that was because we were cave people.
Yeah.
And think about it. There were no cell phones, no computers. We had assignments that you could actually get away with writing in cursive to do. Although in college, the professors really appreciated if you typed it.
Yeah.
But you had to type it on a
Typewriter. Yes.
not on a computer of any sort, which was completely different. So,
there were computers. They were just the size of buildings, and you didn't have access to them.
you INAC or something like that they were using. That there were two computers in the world, probably in 1967.
I think your history of computing is a little off. IBM was doing very well with their
1967.
mainframe business already.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'm crazy.
You're talking like early 50s. That was the way it was.
All I know is there was not a computer in our entire school.
Well, my aunt, who's a couple years younger than you, got a degree in computer science and proceeded to work for Southern Illinois University in their computing department for the rest of her life.
I'm not contradicting anything you were saying.
I'm just letting you know there were computers.
Well,
they were big, though.
Well, let me ask this question. Why did Southern Illinois have a computer system and the entire Cal State system not have one?
Because you guys were,
we're the ones near
California,
Silicon Valley and everything
which
else.
Wasn't even that big yet.
Okay.
IBM was, still running everything out of upstate New York.
I understand. I'm just saying. I think that there's
Silicon Valley didn't pop up until like the late 70s.
It actually started before that because
but I'm saying like became a big thing,
and people like that were doing the experimental work.
Well, yeah, but Xerox Parks again, upstate New York.
Well, the thing that
they hadn't moved everything to California. That's all I'm saying.
The thing.
I happen to know a thing or three about this crap because I'm that kind of nerd. Anyway, so yeah, let's get back to your original point. Anyway, what's up with all the kids and all their crap? Also, they have those carts that they use back and forth
that they move. And then I saw a poor guy today carrying a refrigerator on his shoulder.
Like how big of a refrigerator?
It was probably not
like
a small
half size.
Yeah, I'd say half size rather than quarter size.
Okay,
let's put it that way.
Yeah,
a bigger one,
a large dorm fridge,
right? A more substantial than you would think. And I was always hoping that he was moving it to an apartment someplace or something like that. But
nope.
Anyway, it's just interesting walking up and down the street as I do my business. Seeing all the moving in and out, all the cars piling up at Fordham Hall.
Yeah.
All those sorts of things. Following up on the educational front, there was a big deal in town about the senior assassin game and the fact that one kid was arrested and charged for participating.
I did not see that. That's actually somewhat surprising and good for them for actually following through with the threats. They always say that they're going to crack down on it, and they never do. Also, like, if you're in the middle of Nebraska, this is a perfectly fine game to play. If you're in the middle of an urban environment,
you're saying
it's Chicago, a really dumb thing to do.
You're saying, well,
you don't run around with a squirt gun, regardless how non-real gun it might look. And squirt people.
The interesting thing was they were talking about the fact that they would actually paint the guns because the ones that are toys obviously have the little red thing on the end, so that they would look more realistic.
Again, if you want to get shot, there are easier, cheaper ways with less fallout. Yeah, no, that's... Yeah. Again, this is crap that you do on a closed campus in the middle of nowhere where shootings are
go to a rare. Indoor range and shoot paintballs at one another.
Yeah, but that's not the fun part. The fun part is, you get able to sneak up on, which, again, it's fun, but, so is crack. But there are consequences.
We should not be advocating for crack here.
We shouldn't be advocating for a senior assassin game either.
Well, not that I was. I was just bringing it up as something that had occurred that was interesting from the standpoint that they went out of their way to publicize it. Say somebody's future
got busted.
Yeah, someone's future was going to be affected by it.
Well, good, because half my complaint about the world is there's not enough consequences.
I've always thought that there was a conservative bone that ran through your body.
I believe that people should be
responsible.
Put in stockades and have rotten cabbage thrown at their faces on a much more regular basis.
Well, good.
But yeah. So kids, don't play with fake guns. Play with real ones.
I'm going to hit the bears a little more.
You like your soft, easy targets, and I'm fine with that. What's the latest with the Bears?
The latest with the Bears is they're still playing everybody against one another, and our fearless mayor made a big deal of running to Springfield, the capital of the state of Illinois, in case people don't know that, to put forth his view that they should stay in the city, I think, more than anything else.
Well, he doesn't want to be remembered as the guy who lost the Bears.
Well, he has a lot more trouble with other things than that.
He's also up for re-election real soon, too, so...
Yeah. Well, he's hoping that will swing the fact that he's as unpopular as he is right now. But we continue to be in a position that municipalities do everything they can to cater to this, and it just pisses me off.
Well, you don't like giving people with lots of money more money?
No,
And
especially
subsidizing
the
them?
way cities are doing it now with TIF funds,
Yeah.
because people here probably don't know what TIF funds are. They're basically tax funds that you theoretically gain by something being in a neighborhood. For
Yeah.
example, there are going to be a lot more people going to our bars and restaurants, and our property taxes are going to go up. So we will set a level now as to what the taxes are, and theoretically,
We expect
this
that we will
thing's
get
going to
this.
bring in more money,
Yeah, we expect that we'll get it like a return on investment, if you will.
which is the thing that they use to do the upgrades to Soldier Field.
Yeah.
So
They're
when
still not paid off, but
right, and so now when the Bears move, those TIF funds are still stuck.
Yep.
Instead of going to other programs in the city, we're going to be paying over. I think it's about $450 million that's left on the fund, if I remember what I saw in the paper the last time it was in. So again, I don't care. I don't care that a billionaire plaything can go any place it wants, really. But they have to have a responsibility about where they move from.
Yeah, I agree.
They can't just take off. You couldn't do that if you had put yourself in debt paying for a plant someplace either.
yeah.
So this is just unbelievably stupid, and sort of falls into my belief that, we've substituted in a lot of ways sports for religion, as far as I'm concerned, in this country. And you have a lot more people that are
Spectator sports.
spectators and feel more about sports than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Red circuses, man.
and that's sort of where I'm going. Exactly that. We've got to get beyond this. I like football. I have no problem with that. But I also played a lot of basketball and watched basketball pretty much all the time until this year. I have not watched a single basketball game, either college or pro this year.
I've watched a couple of WNBA games.
I haven't watched any. And there are some curmudgeon reasons for me not doing that I won't go into, especially since we had the discussion about the computer thing. But most of it revolves around the fact that the game has been modified too much for being something that people want to watch, meaning letting people carry the ball, not bounce the ball, hop around all they want.
Like whatever happened to traveling.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough enough to play defense in basketball to be in a position that the guy you're guarding could literally tuck the ball under his arm and start running and no one will call it.
Yeah.
So I think there has to be an entire reset as far as spectator sports in this country. And spending the billions of dollars we do on these things when we have school districts that are dying because we're not supporting them enough is insane. You are eating the seed corn, meaning you're training the next generation in a situation where you're drawing money off from that for stupid shit. And that the sports are not the only ones, but okay, you go ahead.
You're saying as if this is a mistake that's being made as opposed to part of the plan.
Oh, no, I totally agree that it is part of a plan to keep people distracted.
And dumb.
Yeah.
So if you don't know your rights, you can't stand up for
Well, but see, we talked about this a little last week, and the fact that what I believe as far as how Silicon Valley and the thing that happened in California happened. It happened because there were trained people there that the school system created.
Sure.
And we can talk a little bit about what that was like during that period of time, because
I completely agree with that.
It is a dumb situation, and we should not be spending. Let me be as straightforward as I can. We should not be subsidizing billionaires.
Yet we do it
for
every second
for a vanity project, which is all these are.
Yeah, pretty much.
So,
some of it's vanity projects, some of it's very much part of it.
Well, I mean, I understand the Hallis family is a little different because and I understand Green Bay is a little different.
Mm.
But still, most of the other owners in the various leagues have purchased these as much for their name to be on it as anything else.
For those anybody that recognizes the reference, the opening sequence to the movie Basketball. If you remember that, that's all I have to say about this entire thing. You've seen it?
No, but I understand what it could be.
We will be watching it as soon as we're done recording.
Okay.
If you haven't seen it, go look it up right now.
More local news. There was a really horrendous shooting that took place 10 days ago, probably somewhere around in there.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, with 2 police people being shot, 1 killed. And this is just me bloviating as far as that's concerned. Okay. For some reason, the guy had a gun in his or something like that. I'm not sure that everything's very clear.
And verified that information because
that was just in the news.
I've heard 4 different accounts as to where the gun came from, and I don't know what the official story is.
And the one I just put forward was the one that was in the paper.
Okay.
I would totally agree with you because literally no one knows where the gun came from. It could have came from his butt, as far as I can see. But the problem is, and this is the reason I brought it up, this is a large gun that he had. This is not like a little pocket gun or something like that. It's a full frame 10 millimeter, which literally is a gun that you can take with you to shoot bears as a safety gun. It's not like a little bears. Yeah. No, actually people in Alaska use it.
It's not going to stab a bear.
Well, we can talk about that as far as that's concerned. There are various discussions about that online and whether it's got enough poop. But my point is that this was not like an easily hidden gun. This is a really big gun. And it really struck me as being odd that multiple people searched him, not just one, and they did not find it. So when they got into the hospital for some stinking reason, he reached into whatever, pulled the gun out and just started shooting people. It was just I know from what I heard, and this again is my memory, so being 77 years old can be a problem there, that 2 people were being investigated. I think the 2 people that originally arrested them were being investigated to see if they really did search him.
Yeah.
But it could actually get a lot bigger than that. It's a tragedy. It should not have happened. It just is weird that you could get away with, it'd be like carrying an AR-15 in and no one finding it, as far as I'm concerned. So my heart goes out to the people that were involved in it for sure. But it just is a weird thing. Now.
Again, I'm sorry, I still have questions about where the gun came from because one account says he came in naked, which is where the butt gun came from. Another account says it was one of the police officer's weapons that he managed to get away from him. There's another one that regardless, he got a gun in the hospital somehow, and how was that allowed to, happen in the first place? If you're going to take somebody into custody, the least you should do is make sure they're not armed.
Yeah.
And
even more than that, you can't shoot very well with having handcuffs on either. So there's a handcuffing situation that was going on here too.
Depends on what kind of cuffs you got and where you're cuffed.
Yeah.
So if it's in the front, I don't know. This is pretty.
No, the front would.
If you're in the back,
that would be more difficult.
You got to be good with the behind the back trick shots.
And I'm sure everyone practices that. So no problem.
I haven't been, but now that you bring it up, I guess I need to get myself in handcuffs and start practicing.
The gun range, people should be aware.
They will not be thrilled when I show up. Okay, slap on me. Okay, all right, here we go.
I'm sure they've seen weirder.
Probably, but yeah. No, I'm not. Yeah, okay.
Anyway.
Let us know if you try. But yeah, that was it was a horrific thing, and
it just proves how dangerous things are. I mean, I don't understand even the rationale of the guy doing it, but people who break the law tend to be crazy at times anyway, as far as I'm concerned. So, you're not going to get away.
No.
So it's sort of like I don't understand car chases. Yeah.
Well, these days you can actually get away because the cops stop chasing because they don't want to, kill another innocent bystander and get sued for that.
Depending on the circumstance, but generally, once they get on the interstates and things like that, you're pretty much toast.
No, like Chicago cops stopped doing it 4 or 5 years ago, which quite honestly was not the smartest thing to do.
Well, they aren't even able to chase.
So,
yeah, which is another weird thing.
Which I'm on one side for, another side against. Cops need to be better drivers too.
That's true. So anyway, we keep putting people in really bad situations and expecting things to work out. This one
None
was
of
real
with
bad.
The proper training, and that's both the cops and the criminals. We need better criminal training.
Well, the fact that we need better criminals could not be an argument as far as I'm concerned. So we need to go back to the mob. We need to go back to the mob here.
A little self-enforcement.
National news. How can we talk about the nationals? Now,
there's so much too.
The first thing I was going to bring up was Trump's golden statue.
Before you get to that, I don't know if you've watched Saturday Night Live, but the opening sequence, they nailed everybody actor-wise. Colin Jost is a great
Heck step.
Aziz Ansari is perfect as Kash Patel. And this last week it was Matt Damon as Brett Kavanaugh.
Oh, jeez.
And it was the three of them meeting up at a bar. It was perfect. Anyway. Yeah, the golden calf statue, which the
fundamentalist
evangelical person who was sponsoring it and unveiling it had to actually come out and say, "This is not a golden calf." I'm like, no, it's a golden jackass. You mixed up the translation.
Well, and a lot of people put actually the verse in from the golden calf thing from the Bible, which was interesting. And for the fundamentalists to sit there and pray over it is a bit weird.
Well, I remember, you had Genesis in the golden calf passage, but there's Revelation where there's definitely a section where idols are made.
I thought it was Exodus, not Genesis.
Is it Exodus? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, we're not Bible experts. Yeah. Let's put it that way.
But I do remember there being something about golden statues being made.
Yeah.
While he was the Antichrist.
While he was up gathering the 10 things that we should and shouldn't do.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
Which mostly revolve around God, but that's another whole matter.
Only 2 of the commandments have to do with God.
He isn't our Father.
He
isn't our Father. Honor thy Father.
No, I was talking about actually your parents.
Okay. Anyway.
That's why there's also thy father and thy mother.
Anyway.
But there was, don't take the Lord's name in vain and have no other gods before me. Doesn't say don't say there are any God. It's just have no other gods before me. It's back in the day, the Jews admitted there were multiple gods. Even before that,
Yeshua, I mean,
Jehovah had a wife.
He was also an asshole, but that's another whole matter.
Yeah, but what God?
At that point, what I always thought in that circumstance, not to get too religious here, is that the Greek gods make more sense for the way the world is.
Well, they were also like living in a veritable paradise compared to the ancient Israelites who were stomping around in the desert, being nomadic sheep herders.
Yeah, I'm not sure that ancient Greece is that much of a step up. It's pretty dry.
They had the entire
Mediterranean
Sea. They had fish and shit. They had wine.
All of which does not require much water. That and olive trees.
Would you rather be in the nice parts of Greece or the lousy parts of Israel?
Obviously, Greece. Okay. But
just saying,
it's just an interesting sidebar to how we're going to talk a little bit about clan behavior later sometime, and that sort of fits with that. The other thing that to me is interesting is the entire hantavirus thing that's going on from the standpoint of us completely destroying the CDC.
And the WHO.
Right.
Or at least taking away 80% of it.
Yeah. So we're in a position that they're flying people around in containment pods to try and make sure this doesn't spread. And surprisingly develop a hantavirus vaccine that everyone will complain about and obviously no one will take. But that sidelines me too. There was a great thing on the Pit.
Okay.
One of the things I've been watching a lot because my wife loves it, and I don't dislike it. There are some very good people in it.
I've been told it's a great show.
But there is one section in it where there is a denier that's yelling and screaming about the fact that someone was wearing a mask of all things. And they got into a punch out. Cool. And the person that was the anti-mask person hit the person and had a tooth embedded in her hand and was going to have to go to surgery.
Oh, damn.
So one of the doctors, as he was leaving, and they can be sarcastic assholes in this series, turned around and said, okay, you're going to have to go up to surgery and they're going to have to do some work on that. Would you want them to not wear masks? Because, obviously you don't think they're worth very much. And she basically quieted up and said, no, I would really like them to wear a mask. And, I think that shows the insanity.
Oh, absolutely.
So anyway, hopefully there are 4 or 5 guys in the CDC that are still trying, and I hope you're still there. And I from afar support anything you're doing to try and keep this under control, because again, this is a dangerous situation.
Yeah, I mean it's not COVID level yet, but all it takes is one mutation and we're fucked.
Yeah.
Especially with something that's got like a 2-week incubation period.
Yep.
Yeah. A lot of damage can be done before anybody even knows something's happening.
So anyway, hopefully some people are going to have this under control and we won't get into a pissing contest about this.
Yeah. I think, until another Epstein thing pops up, Trump's got plenty of other things to keep him busy right now.
Well, and we'll talk about him one next. I mean, to be in a position, you start something that 99% of the world said you should not do this, and to do it at the behest of another country. Because if you remember, the original statement was Israel was going to do this. We figured if they did it, we were going to be attacked, so we should do it.
Yeah. Which in and of itself
The logic astounds me.
And if this isn't like jumped all over by Democrats later this year for the midterms, then it's just a whole lot of wasted space.
And here you have Trump, the deal maker, who didn't know enough about culturally what was going on and what has gone on in Iran. You in effect stabilize the regime a little more, because when a country is attacked, people fall in line and say, hey, I don't like these assholes, but these other jerks.
He certainly doesn't remember 9/11.
Yeah, the other jerks here are basically killed my uncle.
Yeah, but if third party comes in and starts bombing my house that my uncle and I lived in together and we used to fight all the time, we're definitely going to go against the other guy.
Yeah. And that's the situation we built.
The whole idea that they thought, like, oh, we're just going to kill the head, chop the head off the snake, and then regime
change.
This is the fucking most wishful thinking bullshit.
Even though
5-year-olds have more sense.
Even though Iran, after periods of time, totally decentralized. Their entire country is set up in districts with its own leader running the military in that district and everything else. They are completely decentralized.
They've been waiting for this shit
because of their relationship with Israel and wanting to make sure that an attack like this would not succeed.
Exactly, and they pulled it off.
And we're in a position now that Trump is going around saying, "Well, dude, we're just in a position we got to agree."
Now they just also said, okay, the 60-day limit's up, so that project is over. Now we're doing this other project that's totally unrelated.
Yeah,
it's like, no, it's not. It's the same fucking things. Like,
well, he doesn't want to have to have.
He doesn't want to have to, and unfortunately, Congress won't fucking get off their thumb-sitting asses. Thank you, Republicans, who have abdicated all of your responsibilities so that you can have big daddy.
And that's the thing that's most disturbing. Everyone in the Senate should be jumping up and down.
Everyone in both houses should be jumping up and down.
You're in a position. Well, in the Senate, it's more difficult because they're all older than I am. So jumping up and down might kill them.
I don't see a problem. That's a bad analogy. I hate to say it, but
I'm just saying it's a bad analogy from an old person's point of view.
Days of your life.
So anyway, the point is, we get into this with an idiot that doesn't pay attention to people that are in the intelligence area, who believes he knows everything and that he's going to be able to make a deal after killing a lot of people.
I don't even think he thought he was going to make a deal. I thought that things would just work out and he wouldn't have to do anything. Because again, name one fucking deal he ever actually made. There's nothing.
Well, he's made deals. Most of them bad, though.
Nothing.
So, anyway.
If something works, he takes credit for it, but it's somebody else's work. If something fails, he blames somebody else on it. Again, it was still somebody else's work. He didn't fucking come up with shit. He didn't write the.
That's the reason I want someone from.
Made a fucking deal.
That's the reason I want someone from his educational experience to come forward and talk about what he was really like.
They say he was a substandard student at best.
No, it's not possible. He graduated.
Stable genius. He
graduated number one.
Which one of them is the squirrel? Which one of them is the giraffe? Oh my god! So brag more about your cognitive test, for fuck's sake.
Well, especially considering they give the cognitive test to me all the time, to the point that I tell them I won't even take it. Because it's stupid.
Well,
I know the difference between a stinking elephant and a giraffe. I can count. I'm in a position. I don't. See, this is interesting.
Yeah.
I don't like memorizing things.
Me either.
And the reason I don't, and this comes back to my technical time, I didn't want to do programming from memory. I wanted to think about things and go to
Do it from
and actually go to the instructions available and make sure I picked the right instruction.
right.
That sort of thing. Memorizing stuff is a disaster in a lot of instances. That doesn't
This is
mean
why we get along.
that doesn't
My
mean
third grade teacher can fuck off.
It doesn't mean that I wasn't pretty good at trivia games, because I was, because more of my education than my memory.
Sure.
But this drives me stinking crazy that there are people that believe this guy is anything but cognitively declined
Yeah.
and sick as hell, and is teetering on the edge of crazy.
Yeah.
No one sleeps 2 or 3 hours a night and spends their time stinking typing little things on their phone
Yeah, in all caps.
in all caps, and then expects everyone to believe that this is a reasonable situation.
Yeah.
I mean, to be in a position that you believe and support Trump purely because of his vindictive nature, which is where a lot of the support comes from, that he is going to be their revenge.
Yeah. Revenge for what?
For everything.
For all
them.
the things they feel like they were cheated out of.
Well, and it goes back to a description of the South and poor whites in the South who basically were in a position that all they said, you know, when we were talking about things like equal rights stuff and things like that, hey, wait a minute, the only thing I can really say is I may be a poor white, but I'm better off than an African American.
So yeah,
this is crazy stuff. And bluntly, one of the reasons the founding fathers were very cautious about who they allowed to vote, and that sort of flies back in my face, and I believe personally there are lots of rich people that are white that shouldn't vote either when it comes down to it. But that's another whole matter. So we could spend hours talking about the failures of this administration.
we already have.
And, well, we have, but
Not tonight, but
not as much as we could.
Year.
And
Over the last year and a half.
And it is just crazy, this whole thing with the meeting with Z that was supposed to come up, and looks like it's going to be
coming up now. Yeah.
And then what are we going to do? What are you going to talk about?
Well, we need the stuff they have, and they need the stuff that we're not letting them get, and we don't want to have a shooting war between us.
Well, especially now we're in a position that we've used so much material in the Iraq war, which is another thing that's going on. Iran, sorry. The irate war, as we would say.
We keep doing it. It's okay.
I will just call it the irate now, since people have basically combined Iraq and Iran into irate in a lot of instances.
So they should change guaranteed rate field to irate field. That'd be good.
The issue that we've used so much of our supplies in a position using $1 million plus, even more expensive than that, $10 million missiles to shoot down a $30,000 thinking
that actually cracks me up.
Is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. They were totally unprepared for this, on top of everything else.
Oh yeah, but you know.
So anyway,
they don't care either, because it's not real to them. It's not their money.
It's pretty goddamn real to the people that are over there.
Well, the ones actually getting exploded, or those of us who have to pay for it all. I want to see what the number for how much it's cost to date has updated since they put out the $25 billion. Well, the fact that they basically added 50% of the defense budget, which was already bloated to begin with, from $900 billion to $1.5 trillion. It's they were telegraphing this was going to happen since the moment Hegseth said, "We're the Department of War."
Well, that's right. I mean, as an ex-Navy person, I understand that they want a lot more money in there to build ships, not having the shipyards to build it, to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, there are ways that we could do this that would be interesting, like allowing South Korea and portions of Europe and everyone else to build some ships for us. But that will never happen with a Republican administration. So that's basically all I had on news.
So how long do you think the strait will stay closed?
Until Iran is in
How
a
long
position.
until Hormuz goes gay?
Until Iran feels like they've milked it, is what my feeling is. Because I think they can last a whole lot longer than the rest of the world can.
Well, I mean, actually, all of us last. It's a question of, will we? Will torches and pitchforks come out sooner rather than later?
How could that happen? The only people that have pitchforks are Trump supporters.
Not all Trump supporters are farmers. All farmers are Trump supporters. And quite honestly, the farmers that were supporting him for purely
are really in a questioning situation right now.
Going, you're fucked this season, this whole season.
No, it's more than season, since bankruptcies are exploding
on a year-to-year basis, and they don't have the fertilizer they need for this year.
Yep. Well, they're all making judgments on fertilizer, pesticides, and everything else you can think of.
Yeah. And when
trying to figure out how to do
double the price that it was. I went and filled up my car today. It was like $65, and I have a big car. It was the most expensive tank of gas I've purchased in this car.
I'm going to have to say that I had that impression years ago, because when I was growing up, gas was 25 cents a gallon.
Oh, sure.
And I could fill my car for a week for $2.
Yeah.
And that was with me driving from my home to the college. They had no place to live.
First car gas was 85 cents a gallon, which I thought was insane.
Yeah.
And now it's like,
we could talk again about
a year ago it was $3.50, and now it's over $6.
We could talk again about my McDonald's thing.
I'm just talking about in the last year, not in your lifetime, man. It's literally doubled just in the last year.
Well, and that's ultimately
politically. We're going to talk about inflation. Oh, I thought the inflation was going to go down. Oh, hey, tell me again about inflation. Oh, yeah.
Gas prices are going to be $1.
The only thing that is lower is eggs. And that's only because we've recovered from the bird flu epidemic from 2 fucking years ago. That had nothing to do with fuel.
Yeah, and actually, I do. I was really surprised that at Aldi, even at Morris Market. At Morris Market, the least expensive egg for a large was 99 cents, and for a jumbo was $1.10.
That's for a dozen, not a single egg.
Yes.
Just making sure.
Although they could have, in the worst of it, actually gone down to selling one at a time. That would have been interesting.
Well, I mean, like bodegas in New York were selling loose eggs, loose cigarettes during the whole thing.
Well, I understand. That's actually, you could do an interesting comedy skit on that.
They did. All right. So, you got any bar stories?
I got a
wrote
lot
down
of
a bunch, but I couldn't think of a good one to bring up in this particular.
I mean, how things have changed so much, and I don't know whether I told this part story. This is going to be about my dad.
Yeah.
Did I tell the story about him in the John Wooden lecture online?
Possibly we go for it.
Okay. Anyway, this had to have been around 1968, 69, somewhere around in there.
This segment brought to you by Water Joe, caffeinated water.
He went to a lecture in Pasadena, which was about 50 miles from where we lived at the time. And drank there, because that's what you would do at that. That's what everyone did. And what I remember about it was, on the way home, he got pulled over.
Okay.
And basically, this was what was said. The cop came up and asked him what was going on. And I don't know what he said. All I know is that the cop asked him, "Are you going home?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm going home." And he said, "Okay, go straight home."
Sure.
Miles, not a block away, probably 30 miles away from where we live.
Sure.
And I just compare that and compare what was going on during that period of time. Everyone drove ripped at one time or another. And basically the cops were in a position that they made judgments as to how bad it was. I'm sure if he had come across as totally blotto, they would have stopped him. But my dad was very large. He was probably about 6'3" and weighed about 260 pounds. So theoretically, he could have handled a lot of alcohol.
Yes.
But the point is that back then, it was a completely different scenario as far as the cops were concerned.
Sure.
And there are lots of circumstances I can talk about where things were just a little bit weirder.
So I've grown up in the 70s, and I remember open containers were just all the time.
In Florida,
like nobody got in the car unless you were going to church or some people going to work. You wouldn't have a beer open.
Six-pack. In Florida, it was totally legal. We would drive to Florida when we lived in Michigan and just straight through because we were maniacs.
Yeah.
And as soon as we crossed the state line, I would have to drive to a liquor store or someplace where we could get bars or we could open a beer and drink. The driver theoretically couldn't. Theoretically. But everyone else in the car could drink. So it's interesting how over time things change and become more weird. Because I think that that's progress from my perspective. You don't want people driving drunk and killing people.
But I used to think that was the case. These days, I'm not so sure.
As I take a sip and think about this for a second, are you saying that it was a good thing to plow through people?
I'm thinking it's an unemployment solution. I'm thinking,
we're working
on where you are and who you're plowing through.
We're working on that naturally right now because men and women don't like one another enough that they're not procreating. So that's another whole matter. I don't think numbers of people are going to be a problem in the near future.
I hate to say it, but I think that, women deciding to have standards and expect more than the very bare minimum from men should not be looked upon as a bad thing.
I'm not saying...
I heard the statistic that there are more women over the age of 30 choosing to have children single than ever before.
No, that is true.
It's an increasing stat. So we should support these women, and we should make sure they have affordable childcare. Because
I agree with what
we're not going to teach young men some basic goddamn fucking hygiene and some goddamn fucking manners, boys.
I think you need to think about that yourself if that's one of the problems. I don't know that I've ever been told I was dirty or didn't have manners.
I'm not talking about you and me. I'm talking about the 20-year-old asshole incels who are blaming women for all their problems when they don't take a look in the mirror. That's what I'm talking about.
It's more than the incels you're talking about, but that's not the whole matter.
Well, those are the ones I'm talking to.
Anyway.
I have opinions about this.
Anyway, the point I was trying to go to is that from a bar standpoint, bars at that time were completely different than they are now. There were areas, our summers were spent in a bar. The bar we went to had a swimming pool and a club, theoretically, that we would pay to join and go swim. So our whole summers were in a bar.
Club.
No, this was definitely not a country club. The owners of the bar had a guy, one of their sons was a competitive swimmer.
Okay.
And they had enough money, they built
So
a
they had a
swimming
pool.
pool.
Okay.
And then they said,
Again,
we have this pool.
it sounds like a very low rent country.
Exactly. Well, to the point that everybody was drinking beer and whatever.
I think it also very much depends on where you were living, the situation you're living in.
And I even forget where it was.
Tavern situation in Europe has been fairly stable for the last 500 years. I know Illinois had, Southern Illinois, where I'm from, had a lot of roadhouses and little, houses that got turned into bars. In town, there'd be like a restaurant and bar. The 2 hotels had, bars and lounges attached to them. Most everything else was in town and catered to the college kids that were just like dive bars. But most of my experiences were VFW halls and just
someone's home that had been
roadhouses that would fall over with enough of a gust of wind.
One of the best memories I have is of driving around Wisconsin to various drinking establishments that were actually people's living rooms.
Yeah. Okay.
That sort of
thing. Yeah.
So that there were more informal sorts of things than
also very much, as far as I could tell, depending on whether, were you in town?
Oh, no, these were out.
Were you in a large town? Were you in a city?
These were out, and you almost, as you drove up to them, would think, I'm not sure about this. This does not look like.
But then you'd walk in, oh, here's more.
Yeah.
Yep. I've been to a lot of places that started out that way and then just turned into full bars. It's like, is this just somebody's house? Yeah, it used to be.
Yeah. And if you actually look through this city, there are lots of establishments that too. Anyway,
still plenty left.
That's my bar story.
Okay.
The John Wooden lecture. My dad was told just to drive home 30 miles after being stopped by a
cop.
Yeah. I don't know why I said shot, but there you go.
Oh, we've got shootings on the brain.
Anyway, that's it for news.
Yeah, all right.
Do we want to?
As long as we keep it short, I'd say sure.
Okay, let's do the short anyway. Okay.
Kick us off.
This is something that has bothered me, and that is, when did we become so afraid of things? As a nation, because I think a lot of the stuff that we have now that's solvable, because I believe most situations are solvable, our responses are restricted because people are scared of everything. That they've been taught that the world is scary, and that we can't solve things. And I would agree, if certain people are in charge of the country, it's very difficult to solve things because they're incapable of seeing anything.
Yeah.
But this is an extension of the old newsroom discussion that Jeff Daniels had talking about the country.
Yeah.
And the last, he listed how we were not very good, but then he said, and from my standpoint, it was really poignant because he stopped after just filleting people that were asking, why is America great?
Yeah.
And basically went over all the problems that we have, where we rank in the world with various things. And the final thing he basically focused on was, it didn't used to be that way, from his perspective. I think that's rosy history from some standpoint, but I think a lot of it revolved around this statement that he made in between, which is, when did we become so afraid of things? And I think there are a number of factors from a political standpoint. I think almost all politicians do everything they can to make everything seem scary.
Well, yeah.
And you're in a position with the news media as it is. everything that's bad is what's put on there. I don't want to seem like a right-wing asshole as far as that's concerned.
And how it all plays out, it's,
And we've just got, I can't think of anything that's not solvable if we put our minds to it. We could, we went to the moon in, 8 years? Mm-hmm. When we didn't have any idea how to do it.
Yeah.
There weren't computers, there weren't integrated circuits, there were hundreds of engineering problems that existed at that time. They didn't even know how to put something in orbit during this period of time. And we could have basically circled our wagons and said, well, no, there's nothing that can be done here. It's too expensive. This is crazy. But everybody lowered their heads and just did it. Mm-hmm. That it reminds me.
There are a lot of people who are, whining and crying and saying it's a waste of time and money and saying that it wouldn't work. Those people have all been forgotten.
Yeah.
But there were plenty of naysayers during the time.
Well, and they underestimate the technology that came out of that.
Absolutely. Again, I gotta throw my 2 cents in. I don't think we ever became afraid. I think we allowed being afraid to become the default, de facto norm, go-to.
Yeah.
People have always been afraid of something. There's always been some fear-mongering. There's always been something that was getting people ripped up.
Oh, no, I know. I agree totally with that. But we've gotten
ourselves black scare.
We've gotten ourselves in a position now that
racism, most of it,
we're paralyzed in a lot of ways. We have the capability of doing a lot.
I disagree entirely. I do not think that we're paralyzed. I think it looks like we're paralyzed if all you do is watch YouTube.
That could be.
And depending on what you're watching on YouTube. There's a lot of people doing a lot of shit. And there's a lot of social media, which is, remind you, is controlled by a very select few people who also now own 90% of the news media. And they're definitely trying to push a narrative saying that we are all hopeless, helpless, and, need saving. And what reality we need is organizing.
We need someone to say we need to do this. We need to attack climate change. Period.
Oh no, we're fucked. And it's too late.
Well,
we need to figure out how to survive climate change. Climate change can't be.
I don't know why people in the Southwest. Well, we have our bar owner here thinks he's going to move to Arizona in the next few years.
Yeah, and he's going to move there right as the water gets shut off, and then they're all going to have to leave.
That's this year. The snowpack in Colorado is zero.
No, they'll figure out a way to keep it going for like another 3 to 5 years. But unless something drastic changes, everybody who's living off of piped-in water is going to have to move, or they're going to be piping in water.
But it's
way more expensive.
It's more than that. 85% of the water that's used in California is used for agriculture. It's not used for people.
Yep.
And what has happened in the last few years, cities have bought water rights from people for water.
Yep.
And
the water that's not necessarily going to be there.
And the farmers are making more money doing that than growing things. But that does not excuse one of the things that's weird is because when I was in California, one of the things that would drive me crazy is because people in the Sacramento Valley had very old water rights. They were able to grow rice in California, which is insane. If you went through the Central Valley, people were growing cotton.
It would be fine if you were pumping the water straight from the Pacific through desalination system.
That's too expensive.
Growing all the rice you want and then having all the salt you possibly need.
Well, and that, again, the government during the Depression created the environment that allowed the Southwest to grow.
Yeah. And it wasn't necessarily a bad thing at the time, but the management of it for the last 50 years has sucked.
Exactly. And again, I think that there are solutions, but they're not solutions that we want to deal with.
Well, of course not. Because nobody actually wants to fix the problem. They just want the problem fixed.
Or to avoid even talking about it.
Oh, yeah, because sticking your head in the sand always works.
The whole point of this is, yeah, there are things we should be concerned about. But what we should be doing is saying, okay, lower our heads and think and work on it and fix the damn thing. It's what we're capable of. We are capable. But you're in a situation that you have history dragging you. You have the petrochemical industry, people that are in a position that it's been this way forever and we can't change it. This is all something someone made up, which is insane right now.
You also have a whole bunch of people who are making shit tons of money off the existing system that don't want to lose that. Exactly. There's also the system of control on top of that. They don't want to lose the control.
And unfortunately, when we shifted to cars, buggy whips became obsolete.
Outside of certain fetish situations, yes.
Well, I think a buggy whip is a little different than what you're talking about. But I don't have any experience with this. So come on, jump in on this. Let's
just saying. It's a 4-man harness, and look it up. It's a thing.
As we move through history, there are things that become obsolete, and there are things that are grown from it. And the problem is the people in the petrochemical industry and some of the other areas that are going to be affected if we attack climate change have to be, at this point, ignored, as far as I'm concerned.
Ooh, that's the nice way to do it. I think they need to.
Well, assassination is.
Oh, no. Killing is too good. They must work customer service for the rest of their lives.
Well, I would not. Shifts. Yeah, I would not sentence anyone to that.
12-hour shifts, one phone call after another on an auto dialer. If you do not pick up, you get penalized
in a DJT diaper.
Nope.
So you don't have to go.
Nope, they have to hold it. Every time they go to the bathroom, they get dinged $50. If they do it at their desk, it's $100.
Anyway, again, all I'm saying is we have the capability, we have the people, we know what we need to do. We just have to get off our asses.
Well, I do not disagree with your sentiment there.
Anyway,
I think getting everybody to come together and actually agree on what to do, I think is going to be the harder one. But
it is. But you have that situation no matter what.
That's why I've given up on democracy. People are too stupid.
Well, we could have a whole 15 segments on democracy in general.
Yeah.
And we
months ago.
Yeah, we can basically attack that. You want to finish totally?
Let's go ahead and wrap this up for now, because Tom going in and out the door there is starting to annoy me. And
so you just want to stop?
I'm just saying, let's go ahead and call this one for now, and we'll save the escaping the clan for Thursday.
Okay, sounds good.
So that said, thank you for joining us. This is our new format. We're going to do 2 shows. One's going to be our main discussion. The other one's just going to be us riffing. As we go forward, we're going to hopefully start seeing other bars, talking to some new people, get some fresh faces and fresh voices, and maybe some fresh ideas added in as well.
That sounds reasonably okay.
In the meantime,
I can do without having a sore throat every time we do this.
That's fine too. Also, we'll allow Rocky to get to see different bars.
There you go.
Anyway, thanks a lot.
Thank you much.
Hopefully this will come out okay, and we'll see you all in the future.